guys. So today we're going to be talking about input-output tables, okay? Input-output tables are also sometimes called function tables. So you can see it written either way. Just know that their synonyms are the same thing. Don't let it throw you off. I like to think of an input-output table as almost like a machine. So what you put in the table, and then some secret math formula is performed, and then what comes out of the table. So typically when you see an input-output table, it's going to be your job to figure out what is the secret math formula that's going on? What is the equation that they're using to get the output number, okay? Sometimes a worksheet or a test or an assignment will give you that secret equation. They'll say, you know, it starts with a 2, and if you multiply by 3, what comes out? And then all you have to do is just follow the rule and actually just perform the math. So you can see this a lot of different ways, and if I go on and on about all those different ways, you'll be watching an hour-long video, which you won't watch, let's be real. So I went ahead and drew a couple of function tables here. They can be vertical and they can be horizontal. So it's all the same. Don't let it throw you off. Typically you're going to see an X and a Y, but again, it can be other letters. It could be an A and a B. It could be an M and a J. I mean, it could be any letters. A lot of times you're going to see X and Y, especially when they're related to those coordinate grids like we did last week, and a lot of times it'll give you a point. So then you would find that point and graph it. So input-output tables and graphing a lot of times come together. You'll see them together. So I went ahead and filled in a few numbers here in our X column. And a couple of things that I would like to point out is that you want to look, when you're looking at input-output tables, you really want to look more at the relationship across the X and the Y. And it's not usually quite as important to look at the relationship among all of the X's, okay? So again, remember, think of it as you're putting a number into the machine. This arrow is kind of representing that secret math equation, and then this is the number that's coming out. And then our job is to find that rule or that equation that's happening while it's in the machine, okay? So if I go ahead and tell you that my X is 2 and my Y is 7, I want you to be thinking about what the rule could be, okay? Now I'm going to give you another set of information. I've got 3, and I'm going to give you the Y. Okay, now I want you to think. The rule you were thinking from here, is it the same to here? Because if it's not, it can't be the rule. The rule's going to apply to every single set of numbers, okay? So if the rule that you're thinking in your head hasn't shown up yet, then go back and look at a new rule. So I'm going to give you one more set of numbers, and then we're going to talk about what the rule or what that secret math equation is. All right, so I've got 2 as an X, and then when I have my Y, it turns into a 7. So what I usually like to do are just write some of the rules off to the side for what it could be, and then just see if it applies and cross it out if it doesn't. So I know that 2 plus 5 is 7, so my rule could be plus 5. I also know that if I multiply 2 times 3, and then add 1, that could give me 7 as well. 2 times 3 would be 6, plus 1 would be 7. So now I want to kind of take those 2 rules that I came up with and see if they apply to the next one. If I go with the rule of plus 5, 3 plus 5, what would my output number be? It would be 8, which it's not. So that means that the rule of plus 5 can't apply. That means I'm going to have to check my next rule. 3 times 3 would be 9, plus 1 would give me 10, which means that so far this rule is looking pretty good. Let's try it for the next number. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Again, it applied. So now I know that my rule is times 3 plus 1, okay? So now I'm able to fill in the rest of my chart. What is 5 times 3? 15, plus 1, 16. Same thing here, 6 times 3, 18, plus 1, 19. Okay? 7 times 3, 21, plus 1, 22. Okay? So for this input-output table, the rule is x times 3 plus 1. I'm going to go ahead and put that in parentheses because we know we have to do that first. And then we add in that 1 when we're done. So if this were a question, say on a test, you would have had to find that rule, maybe fill in the other numbers, or maybe find what the rule was and look for this. I took the x, I multiplied it times 3, and then I added 1. Remember that this little dot just means multiplying. And a lot of times you'll see it when you're looking at an X, because otherwise I would have had 2 X's here and that would have been weird. So that would be the rule for our first table. Now, let's look at X and Y input-output table down here. For this one, I'm going to go ahead and give you the rule, and then I want to see if you can come up with some of the numbers, okay? So sometimes you're going to see X and Y, and then off to the side, or maybe in the problem, it will tell you the rule is to so it might tell you that the rule for the table, and a lot of times you'll see it in word form because they just want to confuse you. Divide by 2, then add 3. And I'm going to say divide x by 2, then divide by 3. So, then add 3. So if I go in and I have numbers here for my x, then I should be able to apply the rule and find out what my y is. So for example, if I start with 10 and I follow the rule, divide x, which is 10, by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Then add 3. 5 plus 3, my y would be 8. Okay, and then I'll just do the same thing all the way across. 16. Divide x by 2, so 16 divided by 2 is 8. Then add 3. That would give me 11. 20 divided by 2 is 10. Then add 3. That would give me 13. 24 divided by 2 is 12. Then add 3. That would give me 15. No, yes, 15. I don't know why that just threw me off so much. Okay. 28 divided by 2 is 14. Then add 3. That would give me 17. So sometimes you're going to be given the numbers and you're going to have to find the rule. And then other times you're going to be given the rule and you're going to have to find the numbers. Okay. So I've included a link for some extra practice. Go do that. Let me know if you have any questions. I can help you. I promise. Bye.